Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rechakwadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and apostles and the righteous men of great millstone who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. And salutation to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 men of Yasharallah, and the 1/3 men, women, and children of Yasharallah. Shalom. This is your brother Shamya, coming back at you one more time from the Great Millstone held in the Montana camp. We're just going to jump right into it, and we always like to make a disclaimer. We are not a hate group, and we are not an extremist group. We are a truth group, and we only bring out the truth according to the Bible, according to the word of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, okay? So we ain't going to make this lesson too long. We just going to jump right to it, okay? This lesson is going to be titled, The Israelites Were and Are a People of Color According to the Bible, okay? All that fake-ass Christianity, that plantation Christianity, that all that, the Esau's BS that he's been spewing to our people all this time, all these years, all these decades, all these centuries is coming to an end. And Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is bringing out the truth now, okay? Our people, or we range from light brown to dark brown, okay? We're not black Hebrew Israelites. We are Hebrew Israelites. My skin color is dark brown. I'm not black, okay? My skin color is dark brown, okay? So we're going to just jump right into it because we're going to prove this through the spirit of power Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because the Lord had the spirit jump on me to do this lesson. So now, first we're going to read Lamentations chapter 4, and we're going to read verse 7. And we're going to read Lamentations 4, verse 7 to 8, okay? Now, matter of fact, I'm going to just read verse 7. Then I'm going to read the rest in the International Standard Version translation. This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 7. It says this. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. So then when the wacky tacky Christians, they'll see that, say, they were the Israelites, they were white. No, that ain't what that means. White, it just means pure. It says it right here in verse, the beginning of verse 7. It says, her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk, okay? They were more ruddy in body than rubies, than polishing. Let me read it again. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire, okay? Now, check this out. This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 7 to 8 in the International Standard Version. This is what it reads. Her princes were purer than snow, right? Matter of fact, right here by verse the title in my King James Version Bible, by Lamentations 4, it says the precious sons of Zion were precious in the Lord's sight. Okay? This is Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 7 to 8, International Standard Version. It says, her princes were purer than snow. See that word? It just means, when it says whiter, it means pure. Pure. Okay? It says her princes, and it had nothing to do with, the white is like, Esau is not white. He's red. You know what I'm saying? He's red. It says her princes were purer than snow, whiter than milk, right? Their bodies were more ruddy than ruby. So we got to pay attention to that word ruddy, okay? We're going to go into it. It says their bodies were more ruddy than rubies, their beards like the color of precious stones. Verse 8, now their faces, now they finna go into what their faces look like. It says, now their faces are blacker than coal, okay? So we've seen it many, many times. When we see when they used to have those commercials, those infomercials, they come on at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you got them Africans over there. They dying of starvation. They starving of starvation. You know what I'm saying? They all skinny. Their skin is hanging off their bones. They're black. You know, because they don't have the nutrients in their body. They're starving. So their skin becomes dark and just dead looking, dark and dead, right? It says, um, verse 8, ISV. Now their faces are blacker than coal. Okay. It's now Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 8. The International Standard Version and the footnotes to Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 8 in the International Version and the footnotes, Salaki, this is verse 7. Lamentations 4 and 7 in the International Standard Version translation and the footnotes. This is what it reads. For verse 7, it says this, i.e., reddish brown skin color. Because right here in verse 7, it says, in verse 7, when it says her Nazarites were purer than snow, they were whiter than milk, they were more ruddy and body than rubies, their polishing was of sapphire. So we know clearly that this is talking about us, because when Jake takes care of himself, right, and he gets the right, he's in the right health, he gets proper sun, he takes care of his skin, it looks polished. Let me read it again. This is Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 7 in the ISV in the footnotes. It says, i.e., reddish brown. Because then when a so-called black person goes out in the sun, right, and get that right that good amount of vitamin D, right? Get that good amount of vitamin D, and of course he puts the right oils on his skin when he's out in the sun. Jake's skin glows. And then when he's out there, he becomes dark, of course, but you have those reddish hues in there. That's ruddy. We know what we've seen a ruddy animal. We've seen a ruddy horse, right? A pure thoroughbred horse, like a dark brown horse, and it has like those reddish hues in there. That's a ruddy horse. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, so when a so-called black person, because remember we ain't black, and not just black person, all our people that range from light brown to dark brown. When we go out in the sun, and that sun hits us, we gonna get darker. But then of course when we put the right oils on our skin to of course to make our skin glow and is beautiful. It says footnotes again. It says, i.e., reddish brown skin color. When you're brown, when I'm brown, see, I'm dark brown right now, but wait until the summertime come. I'm gonna get more darker. We're gonna read Songs of Solomon. Let's go to Songs of Solomon. And all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Hallelujah. This is Songs of Solomon, Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. And it reads, it says, I am black, but calmly, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon, right? So then when we clearly can see, I'm gonna put this up to the camera too, so this for the newbies to show that, look, this is talking about us. It says that I am black but calmly, but we ain't gonna just stop right there. We're gonna keep proving this. That was Songs of Solomon chapter 1 and verse 5. Now what I'm going to do is read Songs of Solomon chapter 1 verse 5 in the contemporary English version translation. It reads, "My skin is dark and beautiful." Why is the skin dark and beautiful? Why is the skin dark and beautiful right here? It says because it says because it says verse 6. Look not, matter of fact, I'm gonna read this in a I'm gonna read this in the New Living Translation. Songs of Solomon. Let's read Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. Okay. Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, "I am dark but beautiful, O women of Jerusalem, dark as the tents of Kedar, dark as the curtains of Solomon's tent." Verse 6, New Living Translation. "Don't stare at me because I am dark. The sun has darkened my skin." I gotta put that up to the camera. Verse 6. It says, "Don't stare at me because I am dark. The sun has darkened my skin." This is Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5 in the contemporary English version. It says, "My skin is dark and beautiful." The Douay-Rheims translation, Douay-Rheims 1899 American edition, to Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5, it says, "Do not consider me that I am brown." So there you go. You see, because, brown. What happens when a so-called black person or a person of color goes into the sun? They get darker. What happens when Esau goes into the sun? He burns. The sun don't like him. This is Songs of Solomon chapter 1 and verse 5 in the Douay-Rheims 1899 American edition. It says, "Do not consider me that I am brown, because the sun have heard my color, adhered my color." Oh, Salaki, altered. It said, let me read it again. Songs of Solomon chapter 1 and verse 5, Douay-Rheims 1899 American edition says, "Do not consider me that I am brown, because the sun have altered my color." Again, when a person of color goes out, when they have pigment in their skin, what happens when they go out in the sun? When it's like 95 degrees, 98 degrees, they're going to get darker. Now let's go to Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. Okay. All praise to Yah, Bashem Yahushua, hallelujah. This is Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. And it reads, Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. It reads, now this is in the New Testament too. "Now there was in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger, that's Niger, Niger, right? And Lucius of Cyrene, and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul," right? This is Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. I'm going to put this up to the camera. So, like I said, this is for the new listeners and for all the scoffers that talk shit. We're just proving the points right now. This is Acts chapter 13, verse 1 in the New Living Translation. It reads, "Among the prophets and teachers of the church of Antioch of Syria were Barnabas, Simeon, parentheses, called the black man." We see it right there. Read it again. "Among the prophets and teachers of the church at Antioch of Syria were Barnabas, Simeon, parentheses, called the black man." And this is in the Bible. We're reading this in the Bible. This is talking about us. Okay? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is us. We reading this out the Bible. Okay? Acts chapter 13 and verse 1 in the Easy Version translation. This is the Acts chapter 13 verse 1 and the Easy English Bible translation. In the footnotes, it says Niger, 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 was a word in the language of the Roman people, parentheses Latin. It means black. Simeon was probably a man with dark skin who came from North Africa. I didn't write this. I didn't write this. I'm going to read it again. Acts chapter 13, verse 1, Easy English Bible translation. Footnotes, Niger was a word in the language of the Roman people, parentheses Latin. It means black. Simeon was probably a man, he was a man of dark skin. Not probably, he was probably a man with dark skin who came from North Africa. Now let's go to Acts chapter 8 and verse 26, because all we've proven is just, see, Esau, we go to the Christian churches, they ain't going to say, they gonna say everybody was white in the Bible. That's what they're going to teach in the Bible. They teach that, what do they teach? They say their God, Esau's God, Jesus Christ. That's his God. You know what I'm saying? A so-called white man. Okay? And the Lord, Yahushua Mashiach, who they Italy called Jesus Christ, he was a man of color. He was a dark-skinned man. This is Acts chapter 8 and verse 27. Acts chapter 8 and verse 27. Now we're going to read this about the Ethiopian eunuch. Okay? And it says, and right here, because it says, because see, this Ethiopian, this is in the New Testament. It said, well, what about the Christians, wacky-tacky Christians? Said, well, what about the Ethiopian eunuch? Well, what about him? He was an Israelite. And we're going to prove that. This is Acts chapter 8 and verse 27. And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, an eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had the charge of all her treasure and had come to Jerusalem for to worship. That's the key point right there. This was a Israelite, right? An Israelite foreigner that came up to Jerusalem to worship. That's a sign right there showing that he was an Israelite. Came up to Jerusalem to worship. Okay? But we're going to prove it even more. This is Acts chapter 8 and verse 27. And the expanded Bible, Acts chapter 8 and verse 27 in the expanded Bible, it says, so Philip got ready and went. On the road, he saw a man from Ethiopia, parentheses, not present day Ethiopia, but Abyssinia, Abyssinia, okay? Read it again. Acts chapter 8 and verse 27, expanded version. So Philip got ready and went. On the road, he saw a man from Ethiopia, parentheses, not present day Ethiopia, parentheses, Abyssinia, but Nubia and northern Sudan. Where is northern Sudan? This is Acts chapter 27. This is Acts chapter 8 and verse 27. In the Holman Christian Standard Bible, Acts chapter 8 and verse 27, in the Holman Christian Standard Bible, it says, so he got up and went. There was an Ethiopian man, a eunuch. Now we got to pay attention to that word eunuch. It says, so he got up and went. There was an Ethiopian man, a eunuch and high official of Candace, queen of the Ethiopians. In the footnotes to the Holman Christian Standard Bible for Acts 8 and 27, in the footnotes, it says this: Ethiopians, Nubia, right? So what I did was I Googled Nubia, right? It says the Nubians are an ethnic group that originated in the central Nile Valley They are believed to be one of the oldest black cultures in Africa. That's where Sudan is at. Sudan is in Africa. It says they are believed to be one of the oldest black cultures in Africa. Why do they never teach this in the church? It says they are believed to be one of the oldest black cultures in Africa. They are related to the Sudanese, Egyptians, Cushites, Beja, and Nilotic. Nilotic, right? It says they are related to the Sudanese, Egyptians, Cushites, Beja, and Nilotic peoples. So I looked up the word Nilotic. That's Nilotic, Nilotic, Nilotic peoples. And it says this for the Nilotic peoples. It says a group of ethnic groups native to the Nile Valley and East Africa. They speak Nilotic languages and live in South Sudan, Ethiopia, Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So of course, when it says the Ethiopian eunuch, that's we know that's a man of color. We reading it, the Ethiopian eunuch, but it don't stop there either. He wasn't a Hamite. He wasn't a Cushite. This Ethiopian eunuch was an Israelite. And we're going to prove it. Acts chapter 8 and verse 26 to 28. I'm going to read this in the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life. Okay. It says, Acts chapter 26 and verse 28. Now the title in the Tree of Life translation for Acts chapter 8, right? Verse 26 to 28. The title reads, an Ethiopian asks about Isaiah 53. What is a heathen? What is a heathen asking about Isaiah 53 for? And again, this shows you that he was an Israelite, because the heathen wasn't worried about our book. Why would a heathen be worried about our book? Going like asking, what's Isaiah 53? That shows you he was an Israelite. He asked about, I'm reading it again. This is Acts chapter 8 and verse 26 to 28. Tree of Life title. The title reads, an Ethiopian asks about Isaiah 53. Okay? So real quick, let me read Acts chapter 8 and verse 26 and 28. It reads, it says, and the angel of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai spake unto Philip, saying, arise and go toward the south unto the way that goeth down from Jerusalem unto Gaza, which is desert. Verse 27, and he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, an eunuch of great authority, under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had the charge of all her treasure and had come to Jerusalem to worship. Verse 28, was returning and sitting in the chariot, read Isaiah the prophet, right? So real quick, what I want to do is I want to read real quick. Now, it tells us to for Acts 8 and 27, right? Acts 8 and 27. Now what I did was, normally in the Bible, when we read a precept, it'll tell us on the bottom of our page, the clip notes, they'll give us a precept to that precept what we read on the bottom of the page of the footnotes. But what I noticed right here in Acts chapter 8 and verse 27, Acts chapter 8 and verse 28, when it says, was returning and sitting in his chariot, read Isaiah the prophet, but it doesn't have a precept when it should have one, because we're going to prove it. But it should have a precept to know, because he said, and he was reading Isaiah's the prophet. So what verse are we supposed to go to in the book of Isaiah, chapter in the book of Isaiah, right? In the book of Isaiah, chapter 53, right? It doesn't give us a precept. It doesn't give us a precept like it normally does. So, real quick, what I want to do is I want to go, it says, okay, so this is what I want to do. I want to read, because he was reading Isaiah 53, but what I want to do is, I want to go to, real quick, I want to read this real quick. Just bear with me, Akia. This is I want to read this real quick. We're gonna read Isaiah for Acts chapter 8 and verse 27, right? When it says, and he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, right? Now, even for Acts chapter 8 and verse 27, it doesn't give us a precept to go to. But here in Acts chapter 8 and verse 27 in the New Catholic Bible translation, Acts chapter 8 and verse 27 in the New Catholic Bible translation, in the footnotes, this is what it says. Eunuch may be simply a court title. For eunuch in the literal sense, see the prophecy of Isaiah chapter 56, verse 3 to 7. Because remember, Acts chapter 8 and verse 27, or even Acts chapter 8 and verse 28, it doesn't tell us when it says, when he was reading out the book of Isaiah the 53rd chapter, but it doesn't tell us like what verse to go to. But in a different translation, it does tell us to go to the translation. For like I said, Acts chapter 8 and verse 27, New Catholic Bible translation, in a footnotes, it says eunuch may be simply a court title. For eunuch in the literal sense, see the prophecy. This is why in Acts chapter 8, verse 27 to 28, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua had the spirit jump on real quick. The spirit had the Lord had the spirit jump on Philip to go to that Ethiopian eunuch who was an Israelite, because prophecy had to be fulfilled. We just read it in Acts chapter 8 and verse 27 in the New Catholic Bible. For the footnotes, it says, see the prophecy of Isaiah chapter 56 verse 3 to 7. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 56 verse 3 to 7. And we're going to read the prophecy, because we know that these wacky tacky ass Christians don't like to go into the prophecies, and they don't understand the prophecies. This is Isaiah chapter 56 verse 3 to 7, and we're going to read it in the New Living Translation. It says this. The title reads, blessings for all nations, all the nations that the Israelites were scattered in, just like what we read with the Ethiopian eunuch. He was an Israelite that was amongst the Ethiopians, the Cushites. His heritage is an Israelite, but he was scattered amongst the heathen, the Cushites, the Ethiopians, the Hamites, right? This is Isaiah chapter 56, verse 3 to 7. It reads, don't let foreigners who commit themselves to the Lord say, The Lord will never let me be a part of his people. Who is the Lord's people? The Israelites, right? It says, and don't let the eunuchs say, so this is talking about the eunuch. This is the prophecy that they told us to go to in Acts chapter 8 and verse 27. In a New Catholic Bible translation, in the footnotes, it says the prophecy of Isaiah chapter 56 verse 3 to 7. We're reading it. Isaiah chapter 56 verse 3 to 7. It says, don't let foreigners who commit themselves to the Lord say, the Lord will never let me be a part of his people. And don't let the eunuch say, I'm a dried up tree with no children and no future. Right? It says, for this is what the Lord says, I will bless those eunuchs who keep my Sabbath days holy and who choose to do what pleases me and commit their lives to me. I will give them within the walls of my house a memorial and a name far greater than sons and daughters could give. For the name I give them is an everlasting one. It will never disappear. I will also bless the foreigners, the Israelite foreigners, who commit themselves to the Lord, who serve him and love his name, who worship him and do not desecrate the Sabbath day of rest, and who hold fast to my covenant. I will bring them to my holy mountain in Jerusalem and will fill them with joy in my house of prayer. I will accept their burnt offerings and sacrifices because my temple will be called a house of prayer for all nations that the Israelites were scattered in. And we're going to prove that right here. This is Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 8 in the easy to read version translation. Isaiah 56 and verse 8, easy to read version translation. It says this: the Lord God says these things. The Israelites were forced to leave their country, but the Lord will gather them together again. Prophecy has been fulfilled when Philip went to that Ethiopian eunuch. That's why they told us to, in the Catholic Bible translation, to go to the prophecy of Isaiah chapter 56, verse 3 to 7. It says, the Israelites were forced to leave their country, but the Lord will gather them together again. He says, I will bring them back together again. All the nations that the Lord had us scattered in, the Lord is bringing us back together again. That's why the Lord had the Spirit jump on Philip to go to that Israelite foreigner, that Ethiopian eunuch. It says, the Lord will gather them together again. He says, I will bring them back together again. Isaiah chapter 56, verse 3, New American Bible translation. Isaiah 56 and verse 3, New American Bible translation. The footnote says, eunuchs had originally been excluded from the community of the Lord. Compare Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1 and Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 14. Now, wait a minute. Wisdom of Solomon, that's in the Apocrypha. But right here in the New American Bible translation, the footnotes, it tells us to go to Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1 and Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 14. That also shows you that the Apocrypha is part of the Bible. It says this, Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1. I'm going to read it in the New Living Translation. This is what it says. Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1. And it reads, Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1. It says, the title reads, Regulations Concerning Worship. This is why I said right here in Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 3, when it says, don't let foreigners who commit themselves to the Lord say, the Lord will never let me be a part of his people. Why? It says, and don't let the eunuch say, I am a dried up tree with no children and no future. What does that mean? Well, and again, the New American Bible translation tell us to go to Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1. It says this. It says this. If a man's this is New Living Translation. If a man's testicles are crushed or his penis is cut off, he may not be admitted to the assembly of the Lord. This is talking about an Israelite man whose what? Whose testicles are crushed or his penis is cut off. So what did the prophecy say in Isaiah chapter 56? We read the prophecy. Acts told us to go. Acts in the New Catholic Bible in the footnotes told us to go to the prophecy of Isaiah chapter 56, verse 3 to 7. We read that, New Living Translation, right? Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 3, New American Bible, in the footnotes, it tells us to compare Deuteronomy 23 and 1 and Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 14. Deuteronomy 23 and 1, I'm going to read it again. It says, if a man's testicles are crushed, that's what was with that Ethiopian eunuch, that Israelite foreigner in the book of Acts when Philip went to him. He was a eunuch. That's what a eunuch is. Read it again. Acts chapter 23 and verse 1. If a man's testicles are crushed or his penis is cut off, that's a eunuch. He may not be admitted to the assembly of the Lord. And we already read the prophecy. Prophecy had to be fulfilled. Israelites, what did the Lord say? Isaiah chapter 56, it says, verse 3, it says, don't let foreigners who commit themselves to the Lord say, the Lord will never let me be a part of his people. And don't let the eunuch say, I am a dried up tree with no children and no future. We just read it in Deuteronomy 23 and 1, right? Prophecy is being fulfilled. In Isaiah chapter 56, because it told us in the book of Acts to go to Isaiah 56, that prophecy, when the Lord had Philip go to that Ethiopian eunuch, that Israelite foreigner. Now let's read Wisdom of Solomon, because that's what it told us to go to in the New American Standard Version, in Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 3 in the footnotes. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 14. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 14. It reads, it says, and blessed is the eunuch which with his hands have wrought no iniquity, nor imagined wicked things against power, Yahweh Shem Shai, for unto him shall be given the special gift of faith and an inheritance in the temple of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, more acceptable to his mind. Okay? Eunuchs are not, those Israelite foreigners, even Israelite eunuchs, they're not excluded. The Lord is bringing all the ones that we read it in the book of Isaiah 56 and 56th chapter. This is Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 3 and the New Catholic Bible. Isaiah 56 and verse 3, the New Catholic Bible translation. In the footnotes, it says eunuchs were to be equal in every respect to the other members of the community of Israel. Parentheses, see Deuteronomy 23 and 1. And we just proved that that Ethiopian eunuch is an Israelite. We proved it. Right here in Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 3 in the New American Bible translation, it told us to compare Deuteronomy 23 and 1, Isaiah 56 and 3, Isaiah 56 and 3 in the New American Bible translation. In the footnotes, it told us to compare Deuteronomy 23 and 1. New Catholic Bible translation to Isaiah 56 and 3 in the footnotes. It's also told us to see Deuteronomy 23 and 1. You can't get around it. We read the prophecy in Isaiah chapter 56 concerning what the Lord had Philip do to that Israelite foreigner, that Ethiopian eunuch. Prophecy had to be fulfilled. We proved it because it said it again. We'll read it again. This is for the new listeners to Acts chapter 8 verse 27, New Catholic Bible. In the footnotes, it says eunuch may be simply a court title for eunuch in the literal sense. See the prophecy of Isaiah 56 verse 3 to 7. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rakakwadash Barakatah Double honors to the elders, to the apostles, and the righteous men of Great Millstone who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. Until the next lesson, Akim, let's stay strong. We almost out of here. Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.